Welcome to Medtech Mzansi, the podcast powering South African medical device innovation, brought to you by MDMSA.
Hi Mzansi. As a young girl who depends on medical technology every day, I'm so excited to bring you this special report. Today, we're exploring the incredible power of proudly South African Medtech. Because when we choose devices made right here at home, we're not just getting world-class quality. We are creating jobs and building a stronger economy for our families. This is the key to our national health insurance and a new kind of collaboration. By uniting our industries and our expertise, we can strengthen our nation's health and proudly take our place as a leader in Africa, exporting our innovations and our people. It's how we build a brighter future for our continent, driven by local ingenuity and global partnerships. To discuss this collaboration further, I'm joined today by two incredible people at the forefront of this movement. We have Ms. Janine van Straeten, an executive in charge of strategy, stakeholder relations, and legal at the Proudly South African team, and in conversation with her, we have Mr. Ashveer Maharaj, a brilliant mind and head of marketing medical device manufacturers of South Africa.
Welcome to the next episode of Medtech in Mzansi. Today we're joined by Janine van Straeten from Proudly South Africa, one of the key partners of MDMSA for the last couple of years. So, for those who are not familiar, can you tell us what Proudly South African is and what is your core mission? How does Proudly South African define local in the context of manufacturing and services, especially in the medtech space? And what role does Proudly South Africa play in promoting economic development and job creation in South Africa?
Hi Ashveer, thank you so much for this opportunity to present to you today. And I'll be answering your questions by way of a PowerPoint presentation. Thank you so much. So my name is Janine van Straeten. My role at Proudly SA is to drive localization strategies, but I'm also head of stakeholder relations and legal. Our mandate at Proudly SA is really honed in on any procuring entity or individual to lobby that they buy local. That really is what our core mandate is all about. We're also a not-for-profit company, but we've got representation from all the social partners of NEDLAC. So we've got representation from government, from business, from civil society, and also from labor. If you look at the work that we do, so yes, we do educate South Africa or all those living within the borders about the importance of localization. So we say, if you localize, you retain or create jobs. It also promotes skills development, furthers economic development, empowerment, improved living standards. Of course, if you're earning a salary, your purchasing decisions change drastically. And also it contributes to infrastructure development and increase in the GDP. And it's synonymous with our tagline, be proudly South African, buy local to create jobs. That's what our tagline is all about. Just to give you a sense, I know there have been some individuals or corporations that have not been keen on us localizing, meaning us as a country, but we thought to get the independent, just to get an independent viewpoint about if we do localize, could that move the needle for South Africa? So we did a study, and Dr. Iraj Abidian did the study for us, and we looked at the entire manufacturing sector, and the results were quite positive. It stated that a 10% increase in the investment of the entire manufacturing sector in the medium term will result in a number of positives for the country. So we'd increase our GDP by 13% in the medium term, 9% increase in fiscal revenue, as well as almost 76,000 jobs could be created. So I know you're thinking possibly, I must start a factory now, but you as an individual in a corporation can make a difference. You can really decide and choose to buy local when you're purchasing for your home or for your business. So in that way, you can contribute to 10%, and that will really move the needle. Our key focus areas there are 4. So I made mention that we lobby for the support of local manufacturers, local service providers by influencing the public sector when they buy, the private sector, as well as consumers. But our 4th focus area, and that I think is most important, is it's all good and well to say to everybody, go and buy local, but if they can't access those products, they don't know where to find the service providers, then it is a problem. So that is one of our key focus areas. You might ask, who can become a member of Proudly South African? So Proudly South African's 4 key focus areas. I had made mention that we lobby for the procuring entities in the public sector and the private sector to buy local, but we also do that for the everyday consumer, you and me. We also consumers. And then also we promote the accessibility of locally made products and services. So it's all good and well to say to the public sector, to the private sector, and then to the consumers, hey, source local, but if you can't guide them on where to find local, it makes that exercise so much harder, or much more difficult. So for us to promote the accessibility of locally made products and services, we as Proudly South African have a membership base. So we do ask of local manufacturers, of local service providers to become members of Proudly South African. So you'll see we've got our member logo on the left-hand side. I'm sure and confident that you joining us today would have seen the logo on numerous products that are probably consumer-facing. So if you have a look at the logo, it gives you a sense of what our 4 key criteria are. So if you are a company, a registered company, and you'd love to join the campaign, please do listen. And I will explain and talk you through the membership application process. So yes, there is a membership application form to complete. We would ask you for your CIPC registration form. If you're VAT registered, we ask for that. But we'll also ask you for documentation to confirm your compliance to our 4 key criteria. So look at the logo. You'll see the colors of our national flag, and that is synonymous with local content. So if you're a manufacturer, you're importing raw material or components from abroad, we ask that conversion take place within the borders of the country. So it's all about value add. We know industry has suffered. A number of raw materials are not yet or not locally available. So what we do ask is that the conversion, the assembling takes place within the borders. Of course, we walk a long road with members, and a lot of them have increased their procurement of locally made raw material and components as their membership has flourished with Proudly SA. So we're quite proud of the fact that our members are very cognizant to look out for new players in the industry or in the market. So local content is about conversion or value add. If there's any question in your mind, if you comply, we say 50% of the final cost of production must take place within the borders of the country. If you're a services provider, we check to see how is it that you procure? Where do you procure? Do you support local manufacturers and local service providers? So that is local content. The next noticeable mark on our logo is the big green tick. And that for us stands for quality. So if you're a medical device manufacturer, we do require you to go through the necessary checks and balances of what the private sector requires in terms of procuring from you or the public sector. So we could take into account a SAPRA license or a mark, a European mark. It really depends on what the regulator for this industry requires. So that is for us what we require to then confirm quality. But we also check to see if you are a responsible corporate citizen. Do you look after the environment when you operate? What are you doing with your waste, for instance? So please do advise us. We will really take each case on an ad hoc basis. We'll guide you in accordance with what you make or what you produce. We also check to see if you are compliant with the labor laws of the country. Remember I said that we have the labor on our board. It's very important that you do not just do your own thing. You must take into account and be respectful of your employees. That's why we do request your HR policy or a template of a contract of employment, so that we can be sure that you then that you abide by the labor laws of the country. We also check to see environmental standards through an environmental policy, quality through the quality documentation that you submit, and local content. That for us is then a declaration of the raw materials that you utilize, the components you utilize, and where that conversion takes place. And that will be whilst we plan to come and meet you and see your operations and celebrate you, as well as talk about you in our newsletter, and possibly do some positive PR and really celebrate the path you've walked in terms of bringing your business into a reality.
Local is Global South Africa. Did you know Proudly South African has an amazing online platform for its members? It's the perfect place to connect and grow. Check it out online by Googling Proudly SA Online, a one-stop shop for local businesses. Here we show you what's on offer at Proudly SA Online.
Welcome to a journey of local excellence. At our Proudly South African online store, you'll find the finest, locally made products crafted with passion and skill. Every product tells a story. From handmade crafts to innovative designs, each item embodies the spirit of local producers whose products have been vetted for local content and quality by Proudly South African. Experience hassle-free shopping with our user-friendly interface. Choose from various payment methods and delivery options tailored to your convenience. Join us in celebrating South African-made products and growing their market share. Want to showcase and sell your own creations? Contact Proudly SA today. Explore, shop, celebrate Proudly South African products. Buy local to create jobs. Showcasing local excellence, your gateway to South Africa's finest products.
So where does Proudly SA sit in the ecosystem? So if you look at all of these wonderful entities that provide assistance to businesses, we are at the helm of assisting with market access. So keep in mind that yes, you do need to become a member, and what that allows us to do is to vet you. So when you do utilize the logo, it is a trademarked logo. Even the phrase Proudly South African is trademarked. So only members of the campaign can utilize that, as well as those products that we would have vetted for local content and for quality. So just keep that in mind. So once you're onboarded as a member, you then have access to all of the benefits for membership. I would like now to hone in on the various benefits and opportunities for our membership base and looking at the different sectors of society. So let's start with the private sector. I'd like to share with you what the opportunities could be for you as a manufacturer, but also what interventions we've done, specifically since COVID, when we really strengthened our role as the national buy local campaign in terms of how we deal with the private sector as well as the public sector. So since 2018, we did embark on a Will You Commit campaign. So we targeted various organizations, either at industry level or individual corporates, to ask for them to give a localization commitment. So I'm very proud to say that we've garnered 75 commitments since 2018, and we checked to see that the spend is quite large, between 6 and 8 billion rand per annum, which is quite a wonderful feat. So I'd made mention we had started in 2018. This image here you'll see is one of our member companies giving a pledge, and we did recognize them at an event, and we are so thrilled to see, and that specifically is SAB, that they have honored their commitments throughout the period that they've started. So we also, just to let you know, do our due diligence. We follow up with these corporates to make sure that they do roll out what they had promised in terms of giving their commitments on our platforms. Our ask is fourfold. So we do ask entities, corporations to introduce procurement practices and policies really to favor local companies, local manufacturers, and local service providers, and to include that in their supply chain so that we can measure the impact of what those, say, import replacement exercises are for each corporate. Also to increase levels of local content in raw materials and or components, utilizing the production processes of their respected value chains, but also for retailers, whether physical or online, to increase shelf space to favor local manufacturers. And then if there are ESD programs, that those corporates then send those ESD companies to us and allow us then for to sign them up as members, and for them to also give localization commitments so that they also do what they can to spend with local manufacturers and local service providers. So really to keep the spend within the borders of the country. You'll see that the commitments that we've received are cross-cuts industries, which is wonderful. We've had commitments from banks, schools, hospitals, automotives, retailers, manufacturers. So we work with a number of organizations in the hospital space, specifically the National Health Network, as well as MDMSA and other players. So the commitment there was for linen or bedding, uniform, medical equipment, and the list does go on. So it's all good and well to get all of these localization commitments and to follow up on them. But if there's no centralized place to help guide corporates, some of those promises might be difficult to fulfill. So we've recently introduced the platform, or as we call it, MAP. It was gifted by one of our member companies to further localization through industrialization and also transformation. So the market access platform is a B2B matchmaking tool. So I've been in meetings whereby companies have told me it's a Tinder for business. So I guess this is what it is. But we also like to think of it as an alternative for the CSD, which is the Central Supplier Database. So if you want to do business with government, you have to be on the CSD. So this one is the go-to for the private sector. So it is a value proposition for our members. We list all of them on the platform. We have almost 2,000 companies listed, and as our membership base increases, we way over 3,000 members now. We can then add to that list and add more locally made products, more local service providers to the market access platform as a supplier. So it really is to allow our members to be exposed to corporates, for corporates then to choose new entrants so that everybody gets a chance or gets a cut of the pie. So it really is for us to make our member companies with corporate buyers. So we have a supplier side to the site as well as a corporate buyer side to the site. So we have launched to the private sector at the JSC a few weeks ago. It was middle of August 2025. So we are sitting at about 300 buyers on that site. So it really is gaining great momentum very, very quickly. So just to take you through, I think this is very important. This is a great benefit for members. Corporate buyers, if you're on the market access platform as a member or supplier of Proudly SA, corporate buyers will be able to find reliable and vetted, localized and transformed suppliers. Again, we hear constantly how corporates are hesitant to trust new entrants. And this, we hope, will kill that fallacy. New entrants can be trusted. We vetted them as Proudly SA. So that is the warranty that we give for buyers on the market access platform. So you can also, as a corporate, then advertise procurement opportunities to meet your preferential procurement goals. And this is very important. I know businesses are now deciding to buy from companies located specifically in certain areas. So we look at locality of the locality. They also look to only support different sizes of businesses. So we also disclose that of our membership base. The BBB scorecards, those targets are also then placed on the site, and then the ownership of the business. So I know there's a lot of corporates that are really keen to work with women-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses, youth-owned businesses, vet-owned businesses, as well as businesses based in rural areas. So we really have a tailor-made solution or we could have a tailor-made solution for any corporate buyer out there wishing then to buy from local companies that are in a specific category of persons group. It also allows buyers then to support the growth of high-performing suppliers. So yes, you can rate the suppliers after you've done business with them, and we really do encourage you to do that once you've utilized the platform. Also to increase competitiveness in sourcing suppliers, reduce the cost of sourcing, rate services received from suppliers, as I had mentioned, record and monitor your localization commitment pledges, and also view the socioeconomic impact of your commercial activity with selected suppliers. So really the thought is, I gave a contract to company X and they were able to retain the jobs that they have, or employ more people, or build or pay their machinery. The list is endless. So we would like to track the positive impact that the market access platform has had on the private sector in terms of procurement. So if you're a supplier, what you'll be able to benefit is then to increase your visibility in a cross-industry marketplace, and then to find other suppliers to procure from, to fulfill that RFQ, but also to view tenders in that space, and then to report on the benefits of the market access platform. So this slide is slightly outdated. We've got almost 2,000 members listed on the market access platform now.
Welcome back. Proudly South Africa's new market access platform is an online tool that connects local businesses directly with corporate and government buyers, helping to boost our economy and create jobs. It's the future of local trade. This video is the official video for the Proudly South African Market Access Platform, providing a direct and authoritative overview of what the platform is and its intended purpose. Let's watch it now.
Large companies operating in South Africa recognize the long-term strategic benefit of current legislation focusing on transformation and corporate's responsibility to localize supply chains beyond philanthropic reasons and to comply with the legislation. Corporates are increasingly investing in enterprise and supply development initiatives. However, a number of challenges remain. Finding vetted manufacturers according to local content requirements at acceptable industry standard levels of quality, with the capacity to keep up with demand required from large organizations. Finding high-performing, transformed suppliers across all categories, bridging the gap between buyers' expectations and suppliers' capabilities, and suppliers' over-reliance on limited key accounts. Searching for suppliers is a key step in the procurement process. The suppliers need to meet the company's expectations regarding cost, capacity, quality, deadline, as well as performance. Introducing Market Access Platform, your preferred portal to source localized and transformed suppliers. Market Access Platform, MAP, is an online portal that influences localization and transformation. It enables corporates to refer, find, and rate vetted high-performing transformed suppliers, local service providers, and manufacturers across industries, thereby creating market access for suppliers while mitigating the risks associated with sourcing from unfamiliar companies. Buyers are able to find reliable and vetted localized and transformed suppliers, refer their high-performing transformed suppliers, local manufacturers, and service providers to MAP, thereby enabling them to grow and become more competitive, advertise procurement opportunities, support the growth of their own high-performing suppliers, increase competitiveness in sourcing, reduce the cost of sourcing, rate services received from suppliers, view the socio-economic impact of their commercial activity with selected suppliers, and record and monitor their localization procurement commitments. Suppliers are able to increase their visibility in a cross-industry marketplace, find other suppliers to procure from, and view tenders when published. Benefits and unique selling proposition. Buyer benefits. Contribute towards a localized and transformed supply chain. Retain and create jobs. Enable the sustainability of suppliers by creating market access opportunities. And contribute to the growth of the economy by favoring local manufacturers and service providers by increasing local demand. Supplier benefits. Corporate visibility. Gauge client satisfaction. B2B opportunities, buying from other suppliers, and attend proudly South African events and be exposed to to the collective National Buy Local campaign, calling on both private and public sectors, as well as consumers, to procure locally. We are therefore calling on corporate South Africa to review and secure procurement practices and give preference in all cases possible to companies that are manufacturing locally. Utilize MAP to influence localization and transformation. Refer and find high-performing suppliers. Advertise procurement opportunities. And record and monitor localization procurement commitments. Market Access Platform, your preferred portal to source localized and transformed suppliers.
Our other interventions in the private sector are as follows. We have our annual flagship event, the Buy Local Summit and Expo, every year in March. It really is a way for us to showcase our membership base in all its glory. We have space for over 200 members to exhibit, but I think key is that we bring the buyers to this event. So it's 2 days out of the office, but 2 days well spent. We also have an e-commerce strategy. I'll take you through that in a different slide. We also have various expos, whether it be our own or others, where we link in and take our membership base to. I'd made mention of localization commitment pledges and the linkages we do there, B2B matchmaking, either through MAP or either through our events, but then also our own website listing. We also have quite a targeted approach. So we do make events and touch points available for our membership bases in the different industries that they're present in. So for instance, we have taken our various member companies to the Franchise Association of South Africa's events, specifically aimed at introducing new companies to them with a view to enlist them as part of their supply chain management policies. So we really want to increase local businesses in various value chains. So we work with various corporates to make that happen. Past intervention, we also then specifically in COVID, where we assisted over 60 businesses to get over the line for them to become compliant to sell to hospitals in the private sector space or the public sector space. We then created portals on our website. So it's a one-stop shop, if you will, of PPEs, just general sanitizers and medical PPEs. So we had various lists, and if I can take you through that. So the medical PPE portals that we did place on the Proudly SA website included the following: disposable plastic aprons, disposable isolation gowns, surgical masks, FFP2 respirators, self-licensed sanitizers, and then also gloves. Various ones, non-sterile examination or sterile and non-sterile surgical gloves were then placed on various portals on our website. And what we then did is we then wrote to various corporates. Our CEO probably wrote in the region, I've got here 508 emails or letters to ask corporate South Africa to look no further, buy from the local manufacturers that are on the Proudly SA website or the Proudly SA PPE and medical PPE portals, so that we create buzz around what's available locally, and we really do see what we can to uplift local companies by assisting with driving up demand. We did have a success story whereby one of our member companies was able to fulfill one order, and she was able to keep her doors open during COVID and employ 2 more people. She's now employed 13 more since this exercise. So it really is a very positive impact it's had, if you think about it, on 13 plus families. This is just a sense of the other PPE portals that we did have on our website: cloth face masks, hand sanitizers, detergents and disinfectants, face shields, and then, as I'd mentioned, the medical PPEs. Now, the work we do in terms of how we lobby and assist with the public sector procurement. So here it's a bit more tricky. So if you want to do business with government, you have to be on the CSD. And our intervention with National Treasury has allowed us to integrate with the CSD. So if you're a member of Proudly SA, you're not yet on the CSD and you want to do business with government, we can integrate you and put you on the CSD by virtue of your membership. So it's something small to give back to our membership base if they so wish to do business with government. We also have a tender monitoring function in place. So we monitor tenders that were previously designated for local content. So that allows us then to extract and pull tenders from about, I think it's 815 websites that we monitor. We then pull these tenders from the tender monitoring function. We then send those tenders off to our members in the relevant industries that they operate, but we also send it to the DTIC's industrial procurement unit for them to monitor local content. It allows us also then to know who the public entities are that might not be stipulating any local content provisions in their policies, and we go knocking and we ask for the same. So that talks about the lobbying work that we do. But we've also participated in introducing regulations that really would favor local manufacturers. So we look forward to seeing what the outcome is of those various interventions. Then what we do in the consumer space is really lobby with online stores to increase shelf space for local manufacturers, and we ask for them to put our membership base on their stores, and we have been very, very cheeky. We've negotiated a reduced listing fee, or we've asked that listing fees be waived completely on certain sites, and also to allow the companies to utilize the Proudly SA logo or the Proudly South African phrase. And that allows us then as a campaign, when we put out education, to say you can find our member products on these specific sites. So that's one part of our strategy. We also link in with retail programs so that we work with clicks and the likes to make sure that we increase the local content of those stores, and we put our membership base forward for that exercise. But we also link in with the master plan, specifically the Medtech master plan. We also embark on third-party expos, whereby we take members to various markets and trade fairs. We do social media campaigns, website listings. We also have other local fashion police, local wine expo, as well as other days of observation, Mother's Day, etc., whereby we then ask South Africa or those living within the borders to buy from local manufacturers, our membership base, for instance. Here's just a snapshot of some of the online partners we're talking to. So the list is quite all-encompassing. I would like to make mention specifically of Takealot. We've got a very strategic partnership with them, but also Zulzi and various others, BizMed included. And then very exciting, we have started our own online store. So very quickly, it's a B2C currently, but now what we are doing is we are liaising with our membership base on the store to also then activate their B2B store capability. So to allow them to sell in bulk and to also include wholesale pricing on their entries on the site. So it's very, very exciting. We've got various partners whereby we've got 4,000 drop-off zones. We also have a courier partner that will take the product to anywhere in the country. Each one of our members have their own stores on the site. They have their own unique QR codes. So we really encourage you to join the campaign, be a part of the Proudly SA online store, and we are looking to take the site across the borders. So we are looking to make this a tool for export, which is something very, very new to the campaign. But just keep in mind, we are working with the DTIC in that regard to assist us in allowing our members to trade across borders. So if you'd like to join Proudly South African and you're not yet a member, please do. So our fees have been reduced significantly since 2017. We haven't increased fees at all. So if you're starting out or if you're turning over 5 million rand or less, your membership fee is 500 rand per annum, and it increases incrementally as your annual sales turnover increases. So maximum fee that you'll pay is 100,000 rand excluding VAT per annum. So if I can leave that slide on for you just to peruse a little bit. There's also some discounts in place if you're turning over 50 million rand or more per annum. We've got a 2-year membership discount, a 3-year membership discount, and as well as monthly payment plans in place, because we know cash flow is something to seriously consider for businesses. So 2-year membership is discounted at 10% and 3-year at 20%. So we are very, very proud of the partnership we have with MDMSA. The reason being, it's probably the association we've been, that has been a member of Proudly SA since way before COVID. And the idea behind the relationship, I think, will come into fruition in all its glory next year. And I tell you why. We are looking to host various webinars with MDMSA, but also other associations in the space to come up with a succinct, all-encompassing list of local Medtech manufacturers so that it's a one-stop shop. Because I think we're all sitting with ideas about there are wonderful innovation in this industry. Yes, the ideas are there, the prototypes are there, but we might not be making them locally yet. Or we are and we don't know about that. So that is really the idea, that we come up with one whole database of all the local manufacturing medtech companies in that database. But we would like then to host a sector forum. And we thought to host it because we've got a captive audience already in March in 2026 at our Buy Local Summit and Expo, to be hosted in Sandton, and we'll have the regulators in the room. We also seek to have a mini expo. So MDMSA possibly with a mini pavilion would be wonderful. So the regulators I'd mentioned, and then also the industry and the media in the room to see what the challenges are this industry is facing and how this can be alleviated with the decision makers, regulators, yes, government officials, but industry most important, so that we can see what can be done to really make sure that this industry flourishes. But what Proudly SA will bring to the table is really on the demand side. So any entity procuring Medtech products must and will be in the room, and that's the commitment that we'll give. So that is the way forward, and would like to say thank you to MDMSA. They were really our brains and guided us on a lot of those elements, the medical portals, the medical PPE portals that I'd made mention of. Thank you so much for always guiding us. Simone and Anton specifically, thank you very, very much. They were really a guiding light for us, because we in all industries, one moment I'm in poultry, the next moment I'm in clothing. So we do count on colleagues in the industry to be our experts. So thank you for the role that you've played.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges facing local medtech manufacturers today, and what can we do to address these issues?
100%. So I think that's a great topic for us to discuss at the event. But my sense is, with speaking to industry players, it's the regulatory environment. They need guidance on that. And also possibly the different hospitals group procure differently. They require different marks, for instance. So I think that would also be quite important to assess what really is needed and how we can assist local manufacturers to make product locally, plus other capacity, monetary issues, etc. I know there are amazing agencies within the country that are helping with funding, etc. But it would be good to put everybody in one room to discuss and flesh out and hash out the situation in terms of where we're at as an industry.
What role do you see Proudly South Africa playing in the future of South Africa's medtech industry? Given that you guys are essentially a platform for market access for local companies in South Africa.
I think our greatest dream would be for every entity procuring Medtech products to have a target, a local target. Say we want to procure 80% of our product from local manufacturers, and every year to build on that. So really is to keep the conversation going, to introduce current players into the market, new entrants into the market, so that this industry can flourish. I know there are some wonderful product being made locally, but nobody is buying from them. Companies across the borders are buying from our local manufacturers. So we really want to make it a conducive environment for them to do business, to operate and to flourish. That really, I think, is the vision.
I can agree with you on that. How can listeners or viewers, whether they're manufacturers, healthcare professionals, or consumers, get involved to support this initiative?
So I would say become a member of Proudly SA. That is the first port of call, especially if you are a business operating within the country. And may I give the contact details, if that's okay?
Yes, please.
So it's info@proudlysa.co.za. That is the email to utilize, info@proudlysa.co.za, or you can contact me directly and we can see how we can work together, because ideally we'd love to link in with all the localization programs hosted by industry in general. So the private sector localization programs, we'd love to be a part of it, because if we all stand together, we're all the more stronger and more impactful in all of our endeavors. And if I may give my email address, which I'll ask that it be placed on the screen, it's Janine@proudlysa.co.za, and you spell Janine JEANNINE @proudlysa.co.za. But we'll also give you those contact details to put on the screen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Janine. I think that basically covers our questions, because I think a lot of your PowerPoint presentation actually covered the questions that I had prepared. But that's not to worry. I think it's really great. And
my brain is officially blown. Hope yours is too. Before you go, smash that like button, share this with your crew, and if you haven't yet, subscribe so you're officially part of the squad. Stay brilliant, Mzansi.